Hey, it's Kate, and today I have a very quick and easy sewing project to show you. It's my little nightgown pattern for my 15-inch cloth doll, and I just love how this sews up. It's so easy and it's just no hassle. So I'm using two different kinds of elastic for this project and some lace, so be sure to look at the materials you'll need before you get started. And I'm going to start by placing my gown piece on the fold, and I'm just tracing that piece, and I'm going to cut it out with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Um, Flannel doesn't usually slide around a lot, but I just like to pin it just in case. And you can also use quilter's cotton or calico cotton. I've used that as well, and it turns out really well. So now I'm going to trace the back piece, and I flipped my pattern piece over just to waste as little fabric as possible because there is a curve in the fabric. So I'm just pinning that side, and I'm going to cut that out the same way. And as you can see, both are identical, so it doesn't matter which one is front and which is back. But I'm just cutting this out, and I'm going to work on the sleeves next. It is fall, you guys. I know I keep saying this, but yesterday was the first day of real fall weather, and oh, it's just like a balm to my soul. I love fall because it's such a relief here in Texas. It gets so brutally hot. If you're from Texas, give a shout out in the comments because you know it is tough, especially towards the end of the summer. And wow, to have 60 degrees as the high, it was amazing. So I'm doing the same with the sleeves. I'm just tracing it on the fold and cutting it out with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So now that I have the sleeves cut out, I'm going to add some lace. I'm just going to take that lace and line up the flat edge with the edge of the bottom of the sleeve, and I'm going to sew with about an 1/8 inch seam allowance across that edge. And then I'm going to fold the lace open, creating a hem for the sleeve, and sew along that edge again. And got to do the other sleeve. So now I'm opening up my gown piece, and I'm going to face the sleeve towards the gown piece and sew along the curve of that arm opening. And I'll do the same with the other side. And then I'm going to take the back gown piece and do the same. Just sew right along that curve with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And the same on the other side. It kind of makes a tube, right? Now I'm going to mark a 1 centimeter line from the edge of the lace on the wrong side of that sleeve. And that's where I'll be sewing the elastic. So I use a zigzag stitch for this part, and I'll just line it up with the edge of that sleeve and get the zigzag stitch started. And then I'll take that elastic and stretch it all the way to the other edge of the sleeve as I sew. Whoops. And I just kind of press as I go, and it gathers itself, which I love. And I did the same thing to the other sleeve, and now I'm going to sew down the side, the bottom of the sleeve, and the side of the gown on each side. When you're doing this, start with a back stitch and make sure you go over both of those pieces of elastic. And then I'm just sewing down the side. You can pin this before you start. That can be helpful. I like to be able to line things up as I go, but pinning can be good. And I always end with a back stitch as well. I'm doing the same on the other side. I'm just lining the sides up, lining those armpit seams up, and making sure I hit both layers of elastic as I'm sewing down the bottom edge of that sleeve. All right, and I'm going to turn this right side out. And I'm ready to do the neck opening. So I'm just going to fold down a little lip and then another fold that's about a centimeter. And I'm measuring to make sure. And I don't pin this part either. I'm not a pinner, but I just use my foot as a guide. There are markings on my foot and on my machine that show me the size of my hem, and that helps. But I'm just folding as I go and making sure the seams line up as I cross them. This is probably the hardest part, and I would just encourage you to just take it slow. And you know my motto, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I can't say it enough. If you know me, you'll hear it probably every tutorial, but it's so important. When we rush, things get messed up. So I'm going all the way around that neck opening, but I'm just going to leave a little opening about a half an inch to insert my elastic. And you can see I attached it to a safety pin this time. And I'm just going to work that through that opening, and be sure you hold on to the end of your elastic so that it doesn't slip into the opening. So now I've gotten it all the way through, and I'm just going to tie this off and trim the extra. Just pull it nice and tight, and then we'll stretch that out so that the knot goes into the opening, and we're going to sew that opening closed, making sure that our seams overlap so that it doesn't come opened again. Right? Just trimming some little stray threads, and I'm going to hem the bottom now. And you're just going to make these folds as tiny as you can, and two folds so that there's no raw edge, and we're just going to sew all the way around the hem of this gown. And I like to add a little embellishment, maybe a rose or a little satin bow, but that just adds a nice little touch. But that's it, y'all. So easy, so cute, such a cozy little flannel nightgown, and has such a prairie vibe to it. But I love it. I just love easy projects. They give you a break from the hard stuff. And so thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like making dolls and doll clothes, I hope you'll check out my channel. But I'll see you next time. Bye, y'all.